Welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Tori Champa, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of reviewing two separate movies that came out this past week, we're going to be having a Thor-a-palooza. We're going to review Thor, the Avengers, as well as the new Thor movie that just came out, Thor: The Dark World. So let's get started. So the first film we're going to be reviewing today is the original Thor, which came out in 2011, starring Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and Tom Hiddleston. It's about a being from another planet that lands on Earth and has to change his arrogant ways to save it.
I have sacrificed much to achieve peace. Thor, through your arrogance and stupidity, you have opened these peaceful realms and innocent lives to the horror and devastation of war.
You are a vain, greedy, cruel boy.
You are an old man and a fool!
You're unworthy!
So the three things we're going to be reviewing today for Thor are the acting, the script, and the difference in cultures. The acting overall was really excellent, and it should definitely be noted as something good in the film itself. Chris Hemsworth does a really good job as Thor, while Natalie Portman gives her A-game as his love interest, but as an actress of her caliber, it should be expected at this point. The star of the film, though, is going to end up being Tom Hiddleston as Loki, because he's able to portray this character you feel you should hate, that at the end you end up loving. The second thing we're going to be reviewing is the script, which, while very good, was definitely slow-paced in points. It definitely provides a lot of backstory in such a small span of time, but it is the backbone of the Avengers as well as the second Thor film that's a little bit needed, and going back and rewatching it after seeing the Avengers in the second Thor, you can definitely appreciate it more. The third thing that we're going to be reviewing is the difference in cultures, which definitely was the comic relief of the film, especially when Thor arrives at Earth. It's sort of a clash of cultures between the idiosyncrasies of the Asgardians, who are a mix between Spartans and Vikings, and those idiosyncrasies of the 21st century. And once Thor gets to Earth and you see him interact with everyday people, it definitely is what provides laugh throughout the film. The final verdict, this is a film that you're definitely going to want to see, especially if you're a fan of Marvel or if you have any interest in seeing the Avengers or the second Thor. So the second film we're going to be reviewing today is The Avengers, starring a big A-list cast such as Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Evans, and Chris Hemsworth, and it's about a group of superheroes that team up to save the Earth from an alien invasion.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. So when we needed them, they could fight the battles that we never could.
So the three things we're going to be reviewing today for The Avengers are the acting, the script, and the cinematography. The acting, much like Thor, overall was excellent, especially when you have such a big A-list cast. The stars definitely, though, are going to end up being, again, Tom Hiddleston as Loki and Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Tom Hiddleston does the same thing he did in the first Thor, where he plays a character you feel you should hate that you end up loving, and Scarlett Johansson does a good job playing an interrogation spy that really moves the plot along really well, and even though the film is about all six of them, it's a lot more character development on her part. The second thing we're going to be reviewing is the script, which was excellent. They did a really good job showing the interaction between the six main characters, and we also really want to point out that they left out love interests for the most part, which gave them more time to focus on the development of the relationships between the six of them. And it's what really made it funny, because they are so different. You have Captain America, who was frozen before World War II. You have Thor, who's from a different planet, and it really added humor to the film. The third thing we're going to be reviewing is the cinematography, which was also excellent. There were very few moments where it looked very forced, but definitely the battle for New York was probably the best scene. They did a really long take where it strung along what was going on throughout the entire film with each character throughout the fight scene. So you'd have it go from Iron Man to Thor, back to Iron Man to the Hulk, and stuff like that, which really made it interesting to see how they really interacted and their actions really linked together. Overall, you're going to want to see this film, regardless of if you saw the first Thor. There's parts that you'll probably want to know from it, but it can definitely be seen as its own separate entity, and it's definitely one we recommend. So the final film we're going to be reviewing, and the most recent, is Thor: The Dark World, starring Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and Tom Hiddleston, and it's about Thor recruiting his brother Loki to save the universe.
You must be truly desperate to come to me for help.
If we do nothing, they will destroy us.
You even think about betraying him.
And I'll kill you. That was from New York.
I like her.
So the three things we're going to be reviewing today with Thor: The Dark World are the acting, the script, and the overall special effects. The acting, much like the original Thor and the Avengers, was excellent. You had Chris Hemsworth reprising his role as Thor, Natalie Portman as his love interest, and once again, Tom Hiddleston as Loki stole the show, as well as Kat Dennings as one of the interns. Tom Hiddleston again creates this hateable character that you end up loving, while Kat Dennings added comic relief and a lot of it throughout the film. The second thing we're going to review is the script, which was 1,000 times better than the original. You didn't have these really slow-paced moments because the backstories had already been developed, and there was room for a lot more action. And there was a lot more comedy in this one as opposed to the first one. You had a lot more interactions between Loki and Thor that were funnier versus them just battling throughout the film. The final thing we're going to review is the special effects, which were amazing. It wasn't so much like the Avengers that there was so much special effects you were overwhelmed, but there was enough to make this film look really good. And they did a really excellent job creating the world of Asgard and making it look really nice. The final verdict for this film, you're definitely going to want to go see it. Even if you didn't see the Avengers and you only saw the first Thor, this is definitely one you're not going to want to miss. Just to go over the final verdicts one more time, all three of these films are films we recommend you see, especially if you're a fan of Marvel. This has been Real Talk. I'm your host, Tori Ciampa, and thanks for watching.